What was it like when you first entered the New Bedford school system and not able to speak a word of English? And they did have the bilingual program at that time, which I'm sure helped you. But what about like assimilating into typical New Bedford student? Was that difficult?
Yes, it was very difficult for me and also my siblings. I had 6 other siblings that we all arrived here in 1978. And we first attended home school. And at that time, yes, we had a very difficult time entering into the school system because we didn't speak the language. We had, people make fun of us, call us greenhorns, as
Okay.
you know, greenhorns.
Yeah, right, of course. Yeah, we heard that.
Yeah, I mean, so we had our fair share of having to fight through to feel acknowledged. My family and I, we've been here and we want to benefit from the community, but also give to the community.
Spent some time at BCC, got your associate's degree, you told me,
Yes.
and did the sociology and even some psychology. She's probably doing some psychology in this show right now. These guys are off the rails over here. But then you got involved in, community activism, trying to make the community better. So what about that? Why did you decide to take that path?
I think that from my background of being a preschool educator, I worked for North Star, like I said earlier, that I was a volunteer in all these programs, but then I became a staff. And North Star gave me the opportunity to advance. I was, like I said, a volunteer, then I was a preschool teacher, then I was a lead preschool teacher, then I was a program coordinator, I should say. But there was still elements of me or who I am that I always wanted to speak when I see injustices. And,
Right.
and in a lot of these programs, that's what's sort of happening without their fault.
And what about being a woman? I mean, being a woman, we said we had Fitz down here, obviously a gentleman of color. You're a woman and you're of color. So, coming from a woman's perspective, what is that like? I mean,
I think we need to move beyond pointing fingers. We need to say, look in the mirror and say, what have I done wrong? How could we correct it and move forward?
a lot of times, though, there's like disagreements between people, whether it's men, women,
Yeah,
black,
that's
white,
okay.
and you can't tell or it's hard to tell whether it's motivated by race because it might not be, for example.
It's hard to tell. And like I keep saying, the subtleness, you go down south, they're very vocal about the sides. Sometimes you know who your enemy is. Up here, you don't know who your enemy is. You could be getting stabbed in the back.
The dynamic between men and women, my wife and I talk about this all the time. I always like to bring up that, there's advantages of being a woman too, you know what I mean? I think, if you take the
course.
old chivalry, we're talking about, having a door open for you or something like that.
That if a man wants to do them, they shouldn't be expected to do them. But I think, yeah, those are nice things to do for a woman that you love, or even for any woman that walks by. It's just something you do for respect. If you didn't grow up with that, we shouldn't be judging those people either. It's just
Well, there are things left
for
over, like
people.
who's
Yes.
going to pick up the tab at dinner time, Hey, Chops, you always pick up the tab at dinner? Huh?
Oh, yeah. I just looked at the chat a few minutes ago.
You did it on the way down here.
But I also believe in 50-50.
Like the comedian Bill Burr, he likes to talk about how when the Titanic was going down, they said women and children first. That's like, what happened? See what I mean? So there's some advantages there,
Yes.
And the draft, of course, which is all in the past now, but there are some difficult challenges
Yeah.
there too. Talk a little bit about what's going on here at Black Lives Matter. I know you have a lot of feelings about that, what's going on, and it's difficult waters to navigate because I'm sure you have a lot of white people that are saying, "Gee, I'm not a racist," and all this is going on. And so, what about that? Like, how do we get the white folks, the black folks, brown, everybody together on the same page?
We have to start from the core, and that is from the root. That all this time there's been situations been thrown under the carpet. I think we need to, like I said earlier, face those challenges and move on. And as far as Black Lives Matter, that's happening in the movement now. For some of us, Black Lives has always been Black Lives.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen during this movement. So there are issues that we have been facing, and I mean, I haven't even faced some of the issues other people have faced, but I know also my family has faced some of them. And I think we need to acknowledge, it's very important for white people that's done injustices to black people to actually acknowledge, just acknowledge, and that you actually learn there's certain things you shouldn't be out there just saying because it's hurtful. Yeah, some of us are sensitive, but if we look at ourselves and how we are approaching situation and approaching one another, approaching our neighbor, we can actually resolve a lot of the issues. And that's where I'm at. I support the Young Black Lives Matter in New Bedford. I will continue to do so. I think they're doing an awesome job just because some of the issues that they've already faced, and then they've seen from the elderlies in New Bedford, and they're frustrated, some of us, because it's like, why isn't anyone correcting these problems? And I think I know we talked earlier about it, and I don't want to go in depth about the whole Malcolm Glacier case, but that's an issue that's very sensitive to me. And I think that to be fair and to have justice, just like we want from every other family, that no child should be thrown away. This was a 15-year-old child. We need to look at that case. That's all I'm saying. And then we can move forward. There is great, again, I'm tying it to that question about the policing and Black Lives Matter. And I think that we have wonderful police force in New Bedford. We can do better, too.
Right.
And I think we need to just have justice and move on to the next level.
Yeah, I think, from speaking to police officers and hearing many of them speak, I think a lot of them are feeling bad in the sense that, there's a lot of good ones out there. They go out into the community. They're worried about, somebody coming at them. I think there was an officer that was talking about, trying to disarm a mentally ill person at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then maybe you're successful and then you go home and it's like you pick up the day like nothing ever happened. And like my job or other people's jobs, they never have to see anything like that, and that goes under the radar screen. Nobody ever kind of gives them a pat on the back like, hey, that was good stuff you did there. I think they're feeling like most of us are doing the right thing. Most of us are doing it well. And so we just want people to recognize that too, kind of thing,
I think we've already been recognizing that. That's just not even questionable. That the good police officers are already been recognized. But we have to look at the problem. The problem of Black Lives Matter means that police are killing black people. So we have to look at that problem. That is a very serious problem that's been happening in America for decades.
I know the conservatives like to point out that, there's more young African Americans lost to homicide, something like 10 times worse than the police interactions. And the conservatives will say, well, gee, how come we don't talk about that? How come we don't focus on that? How come we don't try to stop that too as part of, under the umbrella of Black Lives?
Well, the conservatives are being conservatives because if we pour more money into the communities of those communities that type of issue is happening, we wouldn't really be having that. We need programs in those communities. We need all kinds of things to help the communities to sustain itself.
Right. I think the progressives will say, well, you need to get to the root causes of why there's so much extra stress in these communities, why there's hopelessness, why there's, this feeling that,
But it is true.
and that's the reason why you have an elevation in, a lot of issues and so forth. So what about going forward? What are your future plans now?
Well, my future plans, because I think focusing sometimes on who we are and ourselves after certain damage has happened, I'm at a place where I need to heal so I can do more for my family, my community, and the people around me. And that is to, I want to launch my business. I have a tie-dye business that I do with just not T-shirts but other garments, and I want to. And I chose tie-dye. I could choose a lot of other things to do with fashion, but I think I chose tie-dye because it brings color to the community and to the world. Color.
You'll have to get some.
Just unite.
Can you make something for me and Chops?
Yes, of course. I'll make something for everyone. No, seriously. I'm about that we need to unite. We need to know truth and facts. We have a wonderful New Bedford community of such great diversity. Why not utilize and show the world what we can do like we did with other things years ago?
Yeah, right.
So,
now, I know you're still running, right? You were a
Yes.
track star back in high school, right?
I wasn't quite the star because I quit too early, but I'm glad to say I picked that up now in my older years.
So you're running again now?
I'm running again, and
You feel great, right? You're in tip-top shape?
I'm running for causes that matters for the community, yeah.
They're in tip-top shape now, right? It seems like it.
I don't know. I just do what I have to do.
How far do you run?
Well, I could run. I'm trying to do more miles than I already have been doing, but so far it's been 7-point-something miles.
7 miles, right? Wow.
Yeah, in a day, but yeah,
How often do you do that?
I want to move forward. Well, it's been too hot, so I have not been running. I do a lot of walking still, but yeah, I'll get to running more in the fall.
Right. Yeah, because Chops and I were saying we're going to hit the gym pretty soon, because we've kind of let things slide a little bit here. We got to kind of you have to pick it up a notch. You know what I mean? It's great to see you, Maria. It's always nice to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're going to miss I think I ran into you at the feast, and I've run into you at different occasions around the area, but no feast this year.
Hopefully, we'll have all of that
next
back
year.
soon.
It'll come back next year, and then we'll have you back here, and you could sing a duet with Chops over here.
Okay. I actually did used to be back in my earlier years. I was we had a group called SDS, Singing Dancing Sensations.
No, sir.
Camille used to be one of them.
Singing Dancing Sensations?
Yes, SDS.
Is that, can I find that if I Google it? Or?
Maybe if you go down to the library, they may have the tape, those old tapes.
So you like a front? Wait a minute. Before we sign off, I'm onto something here.
Although I was shy, but like I said, I did
You're shy.
things behind the scene. But
so wait a minute. So were you like the front lady, or were you like in the background of the band of the group?
Camille was the lead singer.
Are you kidding me? I know
I'm not
Camille.
kidding.
Oh, I didn't know that. So Camille was the lead singer, and you were like somebody in the background, like.
The two other friend was dancers.
Wow.
But we had a
I gotta
nice
look that
time.
up.
Kept us out of trouble.
And you
during
sang
our-
too?
Yeah.
All right. See that, Chops? I got so.
And dance Creole music. Yes, we love that.
All right, that's great. All right,
Thank you so much.
We got a future show that we can do. Hey, Maria, thanks a lot for being here
Yes,
tonight.
thank
Maria
you.
Forts, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Thank you.